Hey guys, are you someone who's like addicted to the butter bronzers? I finally had the opportunity to get the 4 products. I asked my friend who went to the US to purchase me the butter bronzer, but since she's not very familiar with makeup, so she says, I just looked at it and they look the same. Like, if you're someone who's not very good with makeup or you don't really care, when you look at it, it's actually the same. And it's just that in person, you wouldn't know that the bronzers are usually the bigger one, and you can actually read it. But I don't blame her. She's someone who doesn't really put on makeup. She purchased the Plum Rose and the Vintage Rose for me. As for the butter bronzers, I purchased this from Hot Finds Manila. She's an online seller. It has 4 colors, but I think like if I would gamble, I would take the darker ones. Sun-Kissed Bronzer and the Deep Bronzer. So my thoughts, the Deep Bronzer has a more natural pinky tone, cool tone, and this one has a more warm tone, the Sun-Kissed, and more of an orangey, yellowish undertone. This is the one that might be good for someone who is a warm tone skin, and if you're someone who is a cool tone skin, you might want to try the Deep Bronzer. My friend who is a makeup artist told me that the other colors weren't good enough because it doesn't show up as well in our skin. She's a lot fairer than me, but she does a lot of makeups for other clients, but she told me that the light bronzer and the bronzer doesn't really show up. So I don't know, maybe it's Asian skin, I don't know. But I noticed is that the Sun-Kissed bronzer is the one that is the best color if you're a warm skin tone and if you want that warmth, that glow. I place it on one side of my face and I noticed instantly that I like the color better than this one. But this one shows up much faster because it is the deepest color that they have. However, I do feel like I need to like really be very careful and be very detailed in putting the deep bronzer because I noticed that it can look like a bruise after some time being a cool toned bronzer. So what I would do is I would repair it using my sponge and my foundation. When I received this and it's in a package and it's in the box and it locks up all that sin. So of course after some time it's not so overwhelming. Like when I use it every day, I can shake it off. I mean, it's there, it's strong, the smell is strong in the pan, but when you put it on, I mean, I can like, it's nothing. It's just like using the Nivea Men moisturizer and just goes away for like a few minutes, it's gone. So it's not something that I can shake off, but in the package, it's just really overwhelming. It reminds me of that air freshener that people put here in public transportation, and during the time when I was still young, I used to take a lot of long bus rides, and it just makes me so dizzy why they put those pine thing air freshener in the bus, inside the bus, and in air conditioning. Is like after a 3-hour bus ride, I'm so dizzy, and it's not even because of how the driver is driving. So that's what that is something. This reminds me of that. I'm sorry, maybe I'm just from a country where there's a huge abundance of coconuts and huge abundance of pina colada. We have a lot of pineapple here and coconuts, and when you mix them together, I just know how the real scent is, and this is not it. So anyway, with the blushes, the only problem that I had, no, the biggest problem I had, while they do have like a really, really nice color, I love that the Plum Rose is a nice burnt sugar color. It's really subtle and it's really nice. I love it because the color is just very unique. However, it doesn't really show up on my skin, and I'm not gonna blame it again because this is my skin tone and I know this wouldn't work for everyone. For me, it doesn't. But if I put on so much, there's a very thin line between putting enough and putting on so much and going overboard. It looks like a bruise to me. So I prefer the Vintage Rose over the Plum Rose because this one shows up nicely on my skin. It's still very subtle, yes. It's not like something that I would prefer, but on days where I just don't want to put a lot of makeup and I just want to see the difference there, right? So this is the one that doesn't really show up. This is the Plum Rose, and this is the Vintage Rose, which pretty much shows up with me, and it is like that subtle, almost not there, but gives you that nice kind of radiance. And it doesn't have any satiny finish, doesn't have any like bling in it, but it does give you that radiance. So I just love it. The formula is absolutely nice, probably more geared towards fair people, and probably the same experience that my friend got from the lighter bronzers, where she says it just doesn't show up. My thoughts on the butter bronzer: I still prefer my Deborah Milano bronzer. By the way, Deborah Milano is being discontinued in the Philippines. It's just a really nice bronzer. I'm gonna link my video below. And for the blush, I feel like if you have like a comparison between having like a subtle blush that's matte, I feel like the Milani is a lot better than this one. Yeah, I'm sorry, but well, the only problem for me, I don't know if this is a bad stock, but this smells so bad. I don't know why, but it smells like paste. It smells like glue to me. So I don't know what's going on with this, because the seller said that's just how it smells. But I like this better in terms of how it fares in my skin. I like this better than this one. And this is both of them are not available here in the Philippines. I purchased both of these well, through friends and through Instagram sellers. It's not as wide as these ones. So this is my Deborah Milano bronzer. This is my favorite bronzer. This is kind of like your expensive bronze goddess from Estee Lauder. So this is huge. Look, this is huge. So this is far from it. Well, if you're someone who's on a budget, I don't really recommend this. It's not budget friendly. It's in the midpoint of it. It's not super cheap. I don't really recommend it. And if you're someone who's gonna go overboard just to buy it, I don't think it's that worth it. I mean, I don't think it's worth the craze. Because I tried it and it's just okay. And for me, it's even hard to manage because the color is just something that you have to like really be very careful. So I would still stick with my Deborah Milano. There's still a lot of product in here, and I've been using this like daily for months, and there's still a lot. And I want to purchase, I want to hoard, but it's over. Deborah Milano has pulled out. So there you have it. That's my review for the butter bronzers and the butter blush, and I hope you got some ideas on whether you would want to purchase it or you want to try the colors. So that completes this video, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye!